Welcome to the place where traders unite.
Welcome to another episode of the Trader Zambia podcast, a platform where we talk Forex education, finance, and many more. I'm your host, Maya Mufalali, and today I've been joined by a seasoned trader who has been trading the Forex market for a while, faced profits and made losses, but of course a profitable trader, was once homeless and now a profitable trader. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank, how are you?
Thank you so much. I'm alright. How are you?
I'm alright. Yeah, we can just start by you telling us a bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Frank. My full name is actually Frank Mushimbei. And I grew up in Lusaka, basically Kawata. That's where I was raised, and then I started trading, I think that was late 2019, so I have at least more than 5 years now. And I didn't do much of school of Forex. So it came with that whole idea to me to want to invest in it.
Yeah, the same place you're working in?
Yeah, where I was working,
yes.
my cousin left and went to school. And then I was still working there. So it came with that idea of me having to invest in it. Yeah, so I remember he told me to take out about 2,000 kwacha for me to invest in Forex. And I didn't know anything about it, and I was a bit skeptical, knowing, what's this guy telling me? So I didn't invest, and I didn't pay that much attention until I got fired by those people. And then I had to go back to him and say, you told me about this stuff. What is it? Tell me more. He just laid out a few things. He explained to me, you can also do it yourself. I went home, I had to start researching. That's how everything started.
So you basically just learned from research?
Researchers, and you always have to follow people that are actually doing what it is that you want. There are obviously successful traders out there. I'll give an example of there's Ray Foyne. I did follow that guy when I was just starting, before I even knew about Jeffrey Benson. Shout out to that guy. And then these other guys, there are a lot of guys that have actually learned from American traders, South African traders, Nigerian traders. There's so much you can learn from everybody. Don't just look at their lifestyle or anything, but you can look at whatever it is that you're trying to teach you. That's what I mostly focus on. Yeah.
So capital wise, I know trading is involved in terms of capital wise.
Okay.
You trying to find money. How was that period for you?
Okay, so the time I started trading, like I said, in 2019, I wasn't in a good space. I remember I didn't even have a place to stay. I used to sleep to a certain friend's house. It was really bad. Until from the time I moved out from my place, I lived in an apartment which was very bad. Never had electricity. Funny story. Yeah, there was no electricity there. It was just that thing where, okay, let me just say this as I should say it. I never even had a mattress. I used to just put, what do you call this? A pasa? Yeah? You put that thing, I'll just put a red mat and then put some blankets and sleep there. That's how I started trading Forex. I'm not going to lie to anybody, but that's how I started trading Forex. So I was in that space where I would wake up, go to people's homes. Like there's some guys that I actually made friends with, and I'll go charge my phone there. When I charge it, I go back home, I continue trading. I charge it, I go back home, I continue trading. Sometimes I would leave my phone to sleep there so I can go pick it up in the morning and continue trading. So for me, I think it doesn't really matter whatever situation or position you're put in when you start trading. You can actually make it out of anything, trust me. Yeah. So capital wise, like I said, I wasn't in a good space, so it was that thing where I would go do some pieceworks. I remember this one time I went to make blocks.
Oh.
Yeah. Work where you're supposed to get like 30 kwacha a day, 30, 40, 50. I've worked that. So I did that.
Make 30, 40, fund it in your account?
Yeah, and funny stories. I actually made my first deposit, which was the $5 when I started trading. And at that time, I knew Xnex because the first person that actually introduced me to Forex told me to sign up with Xnex. So it was like a $5. And luckily, I turned that to $26. I think it was just God trying to convince me that I can actually do this. So from there, that's how I started. And then, like I said, capital-wise, I never deposited anything above $50. It was always $5, 10, $5, 10. Yeah.
So you believed in your skill, I'd say.
Exactly. So even though I was blowing those $5, $10, $20, it was worth it. You can imagine having to blow like 150 I never did that at that time. Yeah, maybe now I could have done it, but then no, it was just 5-10, and then I grew from that. Yeah, so I never really had to put in a lot of money in Forex. I wouldn't want to lie to anybody.
So you say that you have been trading in a space of about 5 years now.
Yeah, more than 5 years.
What is that one thing that you've seen people underestimate, so to say, or don't really pay particular attention to it, but it's something that you really have to look at?
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to tell you something about Forex. Forex actually mirrors you. You know, whatever it is you do when it comes to trading, it actually displays who you are. And most people lack discipline, patience, and we have this get rich quick kind of scheme that people put in where you want to start trading today because you've heard this guy making money, and your first impression is you want to start flipping accounts. It doesn't work like that. It takes time, a lot of effort, and most importantly, like I said, discipline is one of the main thing and the main key, and also risk management. You can't believe in growth, okay? There's never a tree that can grow in one day or 1 week. It takes time. Same thing applies to Forex and making money. You must have patience and know how to go about it. Okay. You know, you can learn everything. I've seen people who are so smart and just book smart, I would say, but they can't trade Forex, which is so true. How many guys have you seen that they have degrees, you know, this and that, but they can't trade? Forex does not really matter whether you're book smart, you're smart, you're this, you're going to get a degree, masters. It doesn't work. Forex accepts people who are disciplined. It works for anybody. Okay, so it works for anybody. So if you just look at those things, be disciplined enough and just use proper risk management, and you're going to survive.
Okay. So there's statements that have been said where others feel like capital is that what's stopping them from trading, and other people say it's skill, the lack of skill. So which one do you feel, capital or skill?
Okay, for me, I think it's gonna apply on both, because trust me, even if you have the skill and you don't have the capital, there's no way you're gonna go. But the first thing you need is the skill before the capital. So in as much as you can have a lot of money, you're just going to blow it all. Okay, so the first thing is the skill. You get the skill, you understand what you're doing, and I usually advise people to trade with real money. Just put in whatever small money that you have. Don't trade demos. It doesn't help.
So rather maybe someone trading a micro or something. Yeah,
I'd rather even trading a micro account, but you've got to put in some small money. That does help. It helps you grow. You're having the actual emotion experience towards money. You know, I'm not gonna believe anybody that they say they're not attached to their money when it comes to trading. That's a lie.
That's it.
You know, everybody's emotional when it comes to money. So it's just you knowing how to control yourself. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna fill that account if you blow it. Yeah. So that's how it works. So first thing is the skill, and then money comes later.
Yeah. So in your space of you trading for 5 years or so, did you like make money in your first few years?
Okay, so the first year I started trading, I didn't see that much progress. Actually, 2 years, I didn't see that much progress.
But did you ever feel like giving up?
No. And you know why? Because I knew that I'm not educated. I'm not college educated, I would say. And so I knew the possibilities of trading that were there. So I had to convince myself to say, okay, if I'm not going to do this, there is nothing else or no kind of work that's going to give me $1,000. Yeah. So I had to figure it out. I didn't have any other choice, no other option. I had to find a way to make it work.
Yeah. In those periods where I know it's something that we go to, but depending on the level of psychology, you don't really show it. Okay. There's a part where, like, I would say Forex or trading breaks us. Like, it shows you.
Well, I'll tell you something. That is true, of course. Like I said, trading actually unveils who you are. And the worst thing you can do to yourself is having to completely isolate yourself because you're trading. I understand people do that,
like
but
locking.
Yes, that locking kind of thing, it is a good thing for a while, but don't be completely locked in. It's not good. You need people. You need to go out, like on the weekends, for example. You just go out, meet a few people. I don't know if it's your family or whoever it is you're meeting. I usually advise that, just don't be in one space by yourself, And I feel like trading as a community is also an advantage. You can have people that you trade as a community with. Maybe you can have a group or something like that. Just don't be so isolated that you can't see everybody else. Because if you're just alone, you won't see whatever mistakes you're making. So you must be as a community. If you're trading as a community or you have a few people that you trade with, because personally for me, I did start trading with a lot of people at that time. Yeah, we had a lot of guys, and majority of those guys actually gave up. Yeah, they're not trading. Even like my cousin that actually taught me Forex, he never went into it full time. He left me. Yeah, and today he's almost surprised and impressed with how far I've come. Yeah.
So what's the thing that you think personally breaks down people to like just give up? Is it failing to keep up with the losses? Because I know trading comes with a lot of stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. Actually, Jeffrey Benson taught me. He told me whether you like it or not, you're gonna make losses, and there is no way in avoiding that. It's almost inevitable. Okay, so losses are there, but I'll give you an example of you becoming a Christian today. Would you completely stop sinning?
No.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna make mistakes one or the other, but you're gonna make sure that your mistakes will be far less, and you'll be able to control yourself and know that, okay, I'm almost sinning, let me stop this. Yeah, same thing applies to trading. So the main thing is actually you having consistency and continuing whatever it is that you're doing, and focus on one thing. Don't have a lot of things and divide yourself. I pick this, pick that. In Forex, is what you call specialization. You can't trade everything. Okay, if you're one trader that's focused on currencies, you can pick a few currencies. I don't know if it's 4 pairs. If you're focused on gold, silver, you can pick those things. If you're focused on indices like Nasdaq, USD, you can pick those things. But you can't do everything. You can't. You have to focus on one thing, and you master it, and you continue consistently, and you go far with it. Trust me.
Yeah, speaking of focus on one thing, because the people that I see jumping from one strategy to one to the other. So like you see someone is trading SMC, ICT, stuff like that. So you basically, what strategy do you use?
Okay, so there's
something homemade.
No, it's not really that. All these people, all these strategies people come up with, like SMC, IC, whatever, Teto Soup, all these strategies, they're just mere names that are composed of one thing. It's just support and resistance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, liquidity, all those things. So it's just one thing, but people just have this idea of making up names. Just understand support and resistance.
Yeah, because you find someone drawing SMCs, drawing support and resistance.
Exactly. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So for me, more of what you need to learn is just experience. Understand the whole, just have a full understanding of the market. You can easily master some algorithms of how the market, moves and all that thing. The market will always repeat itself, and it always does. If there's any change, it's just a minor change due to economic changes and stuff like that. But it's always the same thing that keeps repeating itself. So you understand a lot when you keep doing it, and keep doing the same thing over and over. That's what I've been doing over the years.
Okay.
You have to master one thing. I remember when I started trading, I used to trade. At first, I was so in love with GBP USD. I think that was because I was following this guy called Refoin, who was actually trading GBP USD a lot. So I understand his way of trading, and then I started trading that. Even now, I still do, but rarely that I do, because I'm actually focused on gold, Nasdaq, USD, and GMA40. So just these things.
So like from the start, you only were trading like a few pairs, gold inclusive.
Then I never really liked gold. I'm gonna be very honest.
Yeah.
I was never. I think the why I hated that thing was that it blew my first account that I had with over $200. So I actually hated it. I won't lie. And then just about 2 years ago is when I started trading it. I had to come back to it, and I had to fully understand it and grasp it, and So now I'm actually doing good with gold. I'm really doing good. I think I really cracked the code with it. Yeah. So, but either ways, you still need to be careful when it comes to trading gold. Even now, I'm still scared of it, despite trading it. Yeah, I'm gonna be very honest. I'm still scared of it. It's just one pair that I can even close my eyes and still trade. Nasdaq. That one, I'm really good, and I've really learned a lot from it. Yeah.
So has like Forex opened doors that you never imagined to open? Maybe is it going to certain countries, maybe meeting some certain people and so on?
Yeah, I have been to at least more than 3 countries so far.
Okay.
Well, I think one thing that Forex has done for me, first of all, it gave me a home, and it changed the whole impression that people had of me, because I come from a life of drug addiction. And abusing
so
alcohol.
Those photos that you saw on social media, they're all real. You've been homeless, sleeping.
Yes, everything is actually real there. Everything is actually real. I'm not gonna pretend about anything being a lie. All of it is actually true. I was once homeless, early 2019. even before I had to break out of the shell with drug addictions and all those kind of things. I think it all started when I lost my best friend from drug addiction, because we're actually in the same space together and we're doing the same thing, abusing alcohol and all those kind of things. So after his death, I think that was like a redemption for me, and then I had to change after that happened. And from there, more of what Forex has done for me is, first of all, I haven't thought of going back to school yet. yeah, but I would want to do that. I was actually thinking of that. I want to go back to school.
So if you go back, like what would you be studying or something?
I've always wanted to do law.
Law?
Yeah, but I figured I need to do something.
When you bring Forex, people would think you are studying accounts or something.
Yeah. Most people think like that, and a lot of people think as if I'm actually college educated or stuff. I'm not. I'm gonna be very honest. I'm not. And it's just from the way I speak, maybe, or how I understand things, because I'm one person who loves learning. Even now, I still learn things. I still try to grasp a few things and understand things. But one thing I can tell you is Forex has done so much for me so far. You know, I'm able to take care of my parents, my mom. I've done a lot for my family so far. You know, I'm helping a lot of people, and it's just a few things I wouldn't mention, but there have been people going to school because of me. You know, going to college because of me, but I wouldn't want to mention that. But I'm just, trying to grow, because one thing I've learned is I like to keep it low key. I understand what can be said about trading and all those kind of things, because I hate explaining Forex to people, you know. But I've seen a lot of people trading and understanding it and making it grow, which is a good thing. Whatever it is you're doing right now, trust me, I'm actually proud of what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
I've seen actually you've introduced actually interviewed a few traders in Zambia. I don't know, these new guys that are doing well, doing all these kind of things, which I'm actually impressed.
Yeah,
I'm actually impressed with this thing. As long as you're giving out to the community and making them learn, and making Forex known that it can actually help people, just as we are doing here, which is a good thing for me.
So I've always been hearing this thing where people would if you're a trader, you can't do a 9 to 5, like get a job working for someone, stuff like that.
Well, I had somebody ask me that one time. Okay, it doesn't matter where you're working, a 9 to 5 or you're working the whole day. You can be a trader full time. I'm gonna tell you how you can actually do that. So usually when it's daytime here, it's nighttime in America, and when it's nighttime in America, it's daytime here. So one thing you need to understand is that the American market is far more respected than the Zambian Forex market. Okay, so here's how I do it. Usually I wake up around 01. As soon as the market opens, I wake up around 01 up to 04. So imagine someone who works full time. Can't you spare that time to trade from 01 to 04?
So you said the markets are favorable, they're tradable around that period to 04?
Yeah, I think the market you see at night here in Zambia is far more respected than the market you see during the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand the US market opening, like the stock market opening today, it's like 16:30 and all. But trust me, when you wake up at night and start trading from that opening, that's a normal market, and you can actually make money from that.
Yeah.
Because I prefer mostly trading at night and like during the day.
Well, we here, trade New York session, which is like 15 here.
Exactly.
So you have like a specific session that you trade, or you like the night session itself?
So this is my simple habit that I actually have, and I do this every day from Monday to Friday without missing, unless I'm just busy or I'm doing something else or it's just an emergency. I trade every day from 01 to 03 every day. So I start from 01 to 03 or 04 I break, and then I'll come back from 8 to 10. And then after 8 to 10 I'll break, come back starting from 14 to 17, 18, 19. Or if I usually don't go above 20. I have to make sure before 20 hours I'm just done. If whatever move doesn't happen, I just stop there. I don't proceed. So things, but one thing you need to understand is that person laying a proper foundation for you to understand Forex? You can't come to me and show me a car or this or that. A lot of things can be lied to. You don't even know how somebody made that. But I'd rather you show me the chart, you show me how you lay out the foundation about trading and everything else, and then I'll understand everything from there. So for me, it's just basically the chart. I don't even focus on what these other big guys show. Me, I would rather and I like to look at their mistakes actually. When I see a big guy, like a big trader, lose a trade, I always want to learn as to how did they lose that trade, so I can try and find a way to not do the same thing that they did. Okay. So for me, it's just basically about learning. So one of the ways you can identify a good trader if they just have a proper foundation on how they can lay out Forex for you. Don't look at what they're showing you or whatever it is they're talking about. The main thing is you to understand. What's going to make you a profitable trader is having to understand the market from the ground level. And more so, you have to start practicing yourself and learning to become better at it. You can learn from the best trader in the world, trust me. I can bring out one of the top traders in the world that can teach you. But if you do not do what they teach you and apply the discipline you're supposed to apply, trust me, you're not going to learn anything. And you just keep going around the circles and doing the same thing over and over. You can even spend 3 years making the same mistake. Very possible. It's very possible. I did that once for almost a year, making the same mistake over and over until I had to work more on myself. Like I say, Forex mirrors you and it tells you who you are and shows you what mistakes you're making. That's how I changed everything.
So after you've identified your mentor, what's the next step?
So after you identify your mentor, usually these guys, obviously someone wouldn't want to spend their time teaching you things for free. But if you're lucky, you can meet somebody that's willing to help you, but I doubt that. I doubt that. People are so busy, especially these guys who've already made it. They can't have that time to teach you Forex for free. It's almost impossible. So just pay them and you apply the effort as you're supposed to apply. Do your own research. You could possibly learn 60% from that person, but you discover yourself from what you've learned and what it is you want to venture in. So it's more so to focus on you practicing and learning more. Yeah.
Okay. I always hear Forex is spiritual. Do you believe Forex is spiritual?
Yeah. I'm actually a spiritual person myself. I believe in God. I'll start with that. I believe in Jesus. And one thing I can tell you is that this entire life and everything about life is actually spiritual. So your journey has to have more to do with God. I don't care. A lot of people can say so many things, but personally, I didn't change my life by myself. Jesus changed me. So why would I sway away from God that actually helped me and made me who I am today and stop praying because I'm actually making money from Forex? For me, it's just full-time God and I put God first. Whatever it is I do. I don't do it to show anybody, but I know I have a personal relationship with God. And I have to pray usually every day before I trade.
Because there's that thing of where, let's say, if right now we open a trade, we open a trade,
okay,
then the market will just, for some reason, start playing on your trade. Those type of... That's where the spiritual part comes from. So, like, you personally, if that's happening, how would you handle such?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. God is not a magician. Yeah? And, if you open a trade today and you start praying for the market to move,
come to my left, please.
That won't happen, and it can never happen. Just know that it won't happen and it can't happen.
Yeah.
What can happen? You need to pray for God to help you make the right decisions. Okay, so when you're about to start trading, if you want to pray, ask for God to help you make the right decisions. That's all you need, and you'll be surprised God will actually help you those right decisions and tell you what to do. Have you ever been surprised while you're trading and the market is not moving and God just tells you exit, and you exit, the market goes the opposite direction? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I usually just ask God to help me make the right decision. And it's not about God showing you, say the market is going this side. No, just pray for God to help you make right decisions and be disciplined enough to follow your plans. That's all.
I mean, it's quite an inspirational session. So just to sum it up, what's your, first of all, I want to hear your personal, I'd say, opinion on how the trading industry has been before, during, and where do you focus it to be?
Well, I've actually, like I said, I started my journey in 2019, and I've actually met people that actually started trading in 2015, 2014.
Zambian people. Yeah,
this guy he's actually a pilot. Actually, he's a Zambian guy. He's actually a pilot, and there is this other guy that's doing. I think he's one of the biggest traders to ever come from Zambia. He's actually based in South Africa. I don't want to mention the names here, privacy concerns. Yeah, but these guys are doing very good for themselves, and since the Forex industry started, it became a little famous. I think that was 2018, 19, 20. It really boomed, and a lot of people started from that time. But majority of people that started from that time today actually gave up. Because I would say 80% of the people I started trading with, none of them is trading today. Though they claim, but they don't trade. None of them do. And they're surprised that I'm actually into Forex full time. They don't believe that. So I think more of what helped me is just consistency, and I love that it's growing. I've seen these new names that I'm seeing today. I've seen some of these guys promoting Xness, which is good. I've seen these new guys doing good. Some people promoting World Trade like you guys are doing. There's XM and all these other brokers, so it's really good. But I think the most important thing is to share the right information with the audience. It's not about the hype and wanting to introduce brokers into the industry. No, it's about teaching people the right things for them to be profitable. So you ever go to an event, make sure that it's about learning, not introduction of a broker and stuff like that. No. That should be the last thing someone should introduce. You should have sessions like where you go to a seminar and you're doing live trading there. I don't know if you guys do that.
Well, as we do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, so we're just here to open it to the public.
Wow,
but yeah, we usually do live trading.
That's good. I'm actually impressed with that. I think that's one of the things that people need to come up with. But I love that it's growing. There's so much noise. And I hate the fact that there's people that are actually trying to make it seem as though it's a scam.
Forex is a scam.
Yeah, a lot of things have been said. And I understand how people feel, because there are people that actually don't know anything about Forex today, and they'll just meet somebody that lies to them to say, put in this much, I'll trade for you, and the person ends up blocking them. So what would someone assume?
That's a scam.
Yeah, so that guy will go with that analogy or whatever belief and say Forex is a scam because of that. Yeah, so that's where all that thing comes from.
So like looking at these other industries, the people that are working there, there's a fear of AI taking their job. As Forex traders, are we supposed to worry about that or make use of it?
Well, trust me, AI doesn't work with Forex. Trust me, it doesn't. Okay? It doesn't. And I don't know, it's just how Forex has been created. AI can help you understand the market or just draw support and resistance, show you the important levels and all those kind of things. But the rest has to be done with you manually.
Okay.
Yeah, so people can tell you about robots, systems, and all those kind of things. They're just there to display the market for you, but the rest it's you.
So
it's like they're just giving you a 40% edge, and the 60% is entirely you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. And as you wrap up, what's your advice to someone who's not trading or a beginner who is going through a hardship right now?
Well, first things first, I'm gonna say don't give up. Do not even think about those words. Trust me. And people say that practice makes perfect. That is not true. You need to squash that belief. Practice only makes improvement. It only helps you better your best. So you can never be perfect in this life. That's almost impossible. It's actually impossible, I'd say. So you can just better your best and keep on improving at what you're doing. So be disciplined, be patient, and believe in growth. I believe in growth, and I believe that money requires patience for you to even make it. It needs patience, so don't be quick in wanting to make fast money. You can have an account. I'll give you an example. So I'm going to lay out this simple foundation of someone who's just starting Forex on how you can start and how you can build yourself and actually make Forex your daily income. Or you can actually rely on Forex 100%, which is very possible. I do that myself. So I'm going to tell you this. Let's say you have the full skill, you've learned what you need to learn, you've created your own strategy. It's very simple. You fund your account. I don't know if it's 400 kwacha, which is the minimum deposit with some brokers, which will give you like 350, 400 rands. Okay, you can actually set a target of making 100 kwacha a day, which is very possible. Okay,
it's about roughly $5.
Roughly $5. I think people fail to understand this thing. $5 a day is enough.
Yeah, it's enough.
Or let me just say $10 or $20 is enough. But you find today somebody funds $100, they don't even appreciate making $100, which is not good. So you must believe in growth and know that your account can grow if you follow the right steps. So today you make a $10, tomorrow you make a 20, that day you make a 5, that day you lose a 5, and use proper risk management. Trust me, by all means, use proper risk management. Unless you have backup sources of funds where you want to flip accounts. I hate this word.
Man doesn't just upload.
Yeah. Don't do that. Trust me, don't do that. And I hate this whole idea of people saying flipping. What are you flipping? I hate that word. Trust me, I don't like it, and it's very deceiving. This whole thing of flipping accounts doesn't work like that. Okay.
Harvey, thank you for watching to the end. Don't forget to follow our channel and our social media platforms. Till we meet next time, trade safe.